but it's okay. But we're starting off with this Grixis Grixis MH3 deck. Really trying to highlight the Modern Horizons 3 cards and a kind of low to the ground Grixis tempo strategy. We're playing Tamiyo, Inquisitive Student. I haven't played a ton with this card. Mostly Dingo was the one playing with Tamiyo in our paper playtesting, so I'm excited to get to play it. We're playing Psychic Frog. We're playing Amped Raptor in a deck that has no cards that cost more than 2, so Amped Raptor is always going to be able to cast something for you. Although sometimes you're not going to have a target for your removal spell of choice, and I think that's okay. I've got a couple tuned the narrative to help power up our Unstable Amulets. It would be nice to play more copies of this card, but it's kind of bad to draw multiples of this early. It's like really bad to draw multiples early, so at the moment I don't really want to play more than 3. I wasn't sure exactly what I would do to get the third one in there, because I feel like these discard spells are really important to interact with our opponents. Against big man and spell-based combo, we're playing 4 Thoughtseize, 1 Inquisition. We're also playing 4 Nethergoyf. Nethergoyf was looking really, really good in our opponent's hands on Friday, and I'm excited to cast the card here. So we're like, I think we're like 28 MH3 cards in the main deck. It's like 4 Bauble, 4 DRC, 3 Unholy Heat, and then everything else is and then the discard spells, and everything else is an MH3 card, which is pretty exciting. Get Jegantha as a companion. Deck looks really nice. Ragavan is outdated. We're on to play here with a very borderline hand. I think I'm going to keep just because I feel like we can afford to miss a land drop, since we can play a 2/3 Nethergoyf that can maybe even get bigger off Galvanic Discharge, and we've got the Bauble. So their top card is a Bauble. Not going to be the most info. Playing against Scales with Kappa Cannoneer, I guess. I'm going to take this Agatha Soul Cauldron. Kappa Cannoneer seems awful in Scales. I'm mostly surprised you didn't have Court of Calling in your previous Naughty list. You could play Court of Calling. I encourage you to maybe figure out what you would cut for it, because I don't think it seems very clear to me, if I'm going to be honest. Alright, so let's Galvanic Discharge as the boss, which would net us 2 energy, and we could play a 3/4 Nethergoyf. Next, we can play the Amulet. We've got enough fuel to tap Amulet a couple times. Again, yeah, these drafts are early. Takes some time to figure it out. You know, it is what it is. Do this main phase 1 because if I hit a fetch land, my Nethergoyf grows. There's the fetch land. And then seems like I should probably be playing Channeler here so that I can just be as aggressive as possible in a matchup where that seems pretty prudent. Good start so far, by the looks of it. Let me get some stops up here. Again, I have to reinstall Magic Online. Yeah, good start for sure. Elves is currently broken with Rite of Harmony and Wirewood. Broken is probably not a word I'd use to describe elves. Okay. Which one is Rite of Harmony? Is that's the knockoff Glimpse, right? Because I'm pretty sure that card's not playable. Nice, Galvanic Discharge is a good pickup here. Let's go ahead and get in. There's I'm using the Content Creator pass at the moment. Two-mana Glimpse. Yeah, that card's unplayable. You should play Leaf Crown Visionary instead. Leaf Crown Visionary is like a Glimpse, but it's just on a creature, and you can chord for it, and it does stuff. Leaf Crown Visionary, I think, is a lot better. All right, so I'm gonna poke the Construct. This will net me an energy as well. Gonna graveyard this Mishra's Bauble. Yeah, we're not playing Luris because Jegantha's a 5/5 and Luris is a 3/2. Just math. Green Flares and Fires of Invention. No, that's 2 cards you could play together, I guess. Pretty far away from being a deck, but you know, it's a start. Thoughts on Birthing Ritual and 6 for 3 drop to get Yawgmoth? Yeah, you could play both. I mean, sacking 6 isn't something you necessarily want to do. 6 is a good card. Yawgmoth has infinite new tools, and it's like so unclear to me the best way to build it, but we'll work on it. I still have the affiliate code from Heavy Play, but it's always just been an affiliate code, and I've got some other sponsors coming up, so I'm just kind of reserving this space for, you know, sponsors of the channel. But I like Heavy Play. I still use their products. We still have the affiliate code from them. New Blood Earth is great for Yogg. I think it's probably a little underrated, but it's just, again, you have Phyrexian Tower, Flare of Cultivation, the new Grist, Birthing Ritual, Apprentice Baronet, this card you're talking about, 6. It's just like there's so many fucking cards for Yawgmoth. Big Lefty, 23 months. Think about back. Isn't Psychic Frog very good with Necro Dominance? You can discard the excess Frog and Grow. Yeah, those two cards play well together. Of course, you can play these cards in the same deck. I don't think it's exactly right for this build. But yeah, dude, those two cards are good together for sure. So there's a Kappa Cannoneer, which is bigger than my Nethergoyf, but if I discard this Psychic Frog, or this Bauble to Psychic Frog, well, so my opponent has to block the Nethergoyf if I attack with everything. But I guess I can also just, I don't have to attack with the Nethergoyf because everything else is flying, so I can just go 1, 2, 3, get flying. Oh, I guess I should exile the Bauble instead. Oh, and now I've lost Delirium. Oops. Okay. Thank you, Delirium, for coming back. Got him on a 2-turn clock. Make a clue token. So we draw a card off Psychic Frog, and if we crack our clue token, we're going to flip the Tamiyo. So let's flip the Tamiyo. +2. It's a lot of loyalty. Then we get to play another Channeler and another Necrogoyf. Dude, it's just like every time we tap the mana, it's just so efficient. It's pretty nice. My opponent pretty quickly gets an Ozlith. Then they have a Ravager. Can they make this Kappa Cannoneer lethal? Probably can here. There's an 8/8 one. Yeah, it seems like they can make a lethal Kappa Cannoneer. Man, unfortunate. VRPR mod, Monkers. Congratulations. Very nice. Well, down a game. I'm going to bring in my Dress Downs. I'm going to bring in my Meltdowns. I'm going to bring in my Alpine Moon. Not sure about these Disruptor Flutes. They should be good. They should be pretty good. It's a lot of cards. I'm going to... I guess Inquisition is... I mean, Thoughtseize can hit the big thing. I'm going to go down on my discard spells. Like, maybe 2, maybe less. Probably down to trim some of the spot, or like at least one of the spot removal spells because they are like a little less efficient. Just trimming 1. I guess let's get these discard spells all the way out of here. Just play 2 flutes. And why don't you just cut? Could cut Frog number 4. Could cut Tamiyo number 4. Let's cut Tamiyo number 4. Tamiyo is Tamiyo in the play. Don't necessarily want to draw multiples though. Requested mod, thank you. Down to Raptors if we have Meltdowns. So if you hit Meltdown off Raptor, if you have Meltdown off Raptor, Meltdown on 0 can still do stuff. But yeah, maybe it's attention. It is also only like 2 like sometimes bad hits. I think it's just kind of okay. Not very likely to hit it. Can you explain why Sudden Edict sideboard inclusion? We need an answer to Leyline Scion, and Sudden Edict is the best answer because they can't stubborn denial you. Well, I have both Meltdowns in my opening hand. That's awesome. Meltdown Tamiyo Nambo, though. I think I'll go ahead and get a Watery Grave, so I could maybe get a Surveil land and play Nethergoyf next turn. Am I just planning on always melting down X = 1? Seems bad with Disruptor Flutes and Aeons in my deck. I'm up against a... I'm up against an artifact... an all-in artifact creature deck. Meltdown is going to be fucking good, even if I have to kill my own flute. It's going to be okay. Promise. My opponent's kept a 1-lander. Dismember? Just nothing, just one land in a dream. Oh, they do have Dismember. Okay, well, that's fine. Nice 2 for 1 off the Tamiyo. I think I'm playing Nethergoyf here. It hits a little bit harder. I can still play Channeler and like dress down next turn and get the Surveil. But I'm thinking about playing something for 0. Decides not to, which is going to play into my dress down pretty well, I think, or pretty hard. Drawing a land with me, let me Channeler and Goyf and dress down. Okay, Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Pretty good, although I can just Meltdown next turn. I wonder if I'm supposed to cycle the dress down to grow the Necrogoyf and get Delirium potentially. I would have Delirium after I melt down. So now it's a little bit awkward. 9. That's 1 8. Yeah, I'm like somehow just nearly dead to the Patchwork. Patchwork plus Cauldron on it, but I can stop it from going any bigger. And then they can Cauldron the Ballista to make this 9 power, and this would have the Ballista ability, I think, because it comes after the dress down. And then they can ping the Channeler, and then they can hit me for 8, but they can only ping me 7 times. So I'm effectively at 1 if they they can't ping. Okay. I think I'll chump block. I should chump block here, otherwise I'm dead. Thingamabob with the 14 months, Big Nordic with the 5, Goody with the 7. Thank you all so much. Looks like my opponent is thinking about using some counters to kill some stuff here before I untap. 8 counters. It's a lot of counters. Let's just attack first. Don't think I'm discarding anything to the Psychic Frog here. Sorry if I missed some of these resubs, by the way. Give me a second. Foxy Cat, Twitch Prime, Big Goody with the 7, Big Nordic with the 5, Thingamabob with the 14. Thank you all so much. So Dead Nethergoyf. Got 4 cards in their hand still after this, but we got a backup Meltdown. Got a Necrogoyf to come down as a 1 mana 4/5. That will get bigger if we can draw an instant, since we have... Oh, also Artifact. Nice. Can even kill our own Unstable Amulet for some extra damage. Second Cauldron's pretty scary. Again, we do have the second Meltdown, so it's not the end of the world. So let's go ahead and play Amulet. Again, we don't really mind even so much if our Meltdown kills our Amulet because it grows our Necrogoyf. This also grows our Necrogoyf and pings our opponent. And then I think we just want to leave up the Galvanic Discharge so that we can respond to Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Mr. T-Dog, Pizza Force, Foxy Cat, thank you for the subscriptions. The opponent is able to shrink my Necrogoyf down to a puny 4/5 for 1 mana. Necrogoyf has been looking so good. Any concerns about Graveyard Hate with Goyf and Channeler in the deck? Some. Those cards could be good against us. Boots with the Spurs. Depending on some of these energy decks having 1 or 2 Dynavolt Tower to have constant energy generation. So Dynavolt Tower, it was the first card I ever qualified for a Pro Tour with. And I'm very, very nostalgic for that card. I have a lot of love for it. I think that card is so sick. That card is also pretty unplayable in Modern. So if I Galvanic Discharge the Ravager, it doesn't really work out very well for me because of the whole Ravager ability thing. So I wonder, is it better for me to go discharge the Ravager? I think we just melt down again, despite me not being able to play my Amped Raptor. This turn seems like this will probably just be game winning. Okay. Seems my opponent agrees. Okay. Going to game 3. With Primal Prayers, is a Bantless not possible? Mirroring a Legacy Alluring deck. You shouldn't mirror a Legacy deck ever. It's just a very different format. You shouldn't go into Modern deck with the goal of copying a Legacy deck as much as possible. That being said, I have the only Primal Prayers deck I've built is Bant, and we'll play it at some point today. So so of course Bant is possible, and that is actually the only version I've built. We haven't played it yet. So unfortunately, I'm a mull to 5 in game 3 here. Feels like I really want to keep this Psychic Frog to push through a little bit, and I think I want to keep just keep these 5 cards. Could save the Bauble to try to like manipulate the top of my library for Amped Raptor. Seems fine. Let's do that. Again, could be bad if we hit a Meltdown, but now we hit the Bauble for a little bit less likely that happens. Although we just graveyard a land. I guess I'm going to take a peek at my top card, just see if it is. Okay, Amped Raptor also not the best hit here. So we'll just play Psychic Frog instead. We'll be probably pretty down to discard the Tamiyo this game. This scale's getting new stuff besides Cannoneer. Nothing super big, I think. I'm kind of surprised to even see this build, to be honest. So I've got a pretty good block here, I think, if they attack, right? So I attack, and then they can put 1 counter on the Patchwork with Zabaz, but I could just discard a second card. I mean, if they have Dismember, it's not that big a deal. But they got Forest, so I guess they just do have Dismember. Yeah, I mean, I guess that exchange works out pretty good for them, because they got me to discard a card. But hopefully these 3 Amped Raptors can get us back in the game. So Amped Raptor into Nethergoyf. Not bad rate for 2 mana. Got 3 cards in their hand, and I'm still on this mull to 5. Devoidling, 11 months. Thank you, welcome back. So their Patchworks, 3/2, 3/3/2/2. Tap Breeding Pool. Their last card is an Arcbound Ravager. Pretty good last card to have. So I think I'm double blocking this Patchwork. They can go sack Zabaz, 4/4, sack 6/6. It's not the best. It's not the best, but I think it's probably what we're doing still. Because this gets rid of the Zabaz and the Ravager. Oh, weird. They're not sacking the Zabaz. They're just doing a... Oh, wait, sorry. Oh, so the Zabaz gets the extra counter. Never mind. Okay. So I guess I messed that up too, huh? Tune the narrative. So this will give me... Delirium. And then I'll be able to Galvanic Discharge one of the Patchworks next turn and pay for Ward. But I feel like I'm just going to be too far behind here. Especially if my opponent draws anything, which is never a great place to be. I mean, I guess I could just draw Meltdown still. So I have to chump block. It may be prudent for me to do the second main phase also. Not sure. Okay, so if I discharge a Patchwork, I'm taking 5, then probably fetching, getting a Surveil land, being pretty dead. So I think I'm probably going to end up trying to use this instead. Okay, so Galvanic Discharge. Okay, target this Patchwork. Another Channeler. So next turn I could go Channeler plus Discharge plus pay for Ward. That seems like it'd probably be fine. Dingo with the 18 months. That's a long ass time. Appreciate you, homie. Of course, great to play test with you last week. Is Raptor Meltdown on? But yeah, there's a little bit of tension there. Okay, so if I block the Zabaz, then my opponent will be able to put 1 counter on the Patchwork, which will put me to 1 life, which is notably not 0. Yeah, I think this seems fine. I can even still Galvanic Discharge this. Oh yeah, also, I guess if they do this, if they Pendlehaven, that does kind of get me, huh? So, yeah. So I guess I should have chumped or not blocked at all. See how much that comes back to bite me. Then here, I think I want my opponent to like just attack with both, play around me not having a removal spell, then I get to block the Zabaz and discharge the Patchwork. Opponent's been bricking a lot on their top decks, which has been really nice, it seems. People always complain about Zabaz not being able to fly, but Zabaz like literally can fly. Ooh. Okay, so they can't activate Zabaz, so let's see where the modular goes. So the modular goes onto the Zabaz. So this will be 4 power. So I can Galvanic Discharge the Zabaz and block the Patchwork, which is probably better so I don't die to like a white source giving flying. Although it seems pretty unlikely that they can even have white sources in the first place. But I would also have more energy, and yeah, I think... So yeah, if I do this, they also only get to modular 1 counter over. And I can, at the very least, escape Nethergoyf next turn to do some blocking. So pay 3 energy. They have a 6/6. No cards in their hand. Unfortunately, this is now a 2/2, so I don't have the fastest clock ever. So surveil Blackcleave Cliffs into the yard. Take a look at what my opponent's drawing. A Bauble. I could maybe escape to where I lose Delirium and then chump block with the Channeler instead of my 5/6 Nethergoyf. Not sure. Is that even like a good option? Because then like if I remove Delirium, then I have to. This will be a 3/4. So let's say that not to do that probably. So we've got 2 lands. Let's get rid of land. Oh yeah, also the Channeler will die. Seems like not a good play, right? Also, I should have left up a red mana instead, I guess. Not that I can really kill the Patchwork, and I know they're not drawing a creature. Psychic Frog. So they draw a Bauble. We knew that was what they were going to draw. Chump block with the Goyf. The opponent hasn't sacked yet. So now I should be able to Frog and Nethergoyf, since I think I still have my Swamp and Island in the deck. Hopefully I don't have to lose Delirium. Okay, so escape the Goyf again. Exile a land, a creature, an instant, and a Bauble. Yes, I think it looks like I still get to keep Delirium and 5 types. Hope they don't draw a Agatha's Soul Cauldron or a Ballista. Did both those cards. Why no Bowmasters in this list? What would you cut Bowmaster for? I guess would be my first question to you, and then also we're playtesting the Modern Horizons 3 cards. So we're playing a higher density of Modern Horizons 3 cards than maybe you would be usually used to, but you know, we're playing the new cards instead of the old cards, not necessarily the most complicated. Okay, I think keeping Disruptor Flute here seems awesome because I can just respond to my opponent can respond to my opponent casting a Ballista or an Agatha Soul Cauldron, and I don't have to choose which card to name yet. And then the damage from the Unstable Amulet also means that I'll be able to kill my opponent with my Channeler next turn. So I maybe lose if they have Beseiju in their hand. Okay, they just concede. That was an awesome first match. Definitely didn't play perfect, but Grixis decks. Nothing against Scales is so sad. Yeah, it seemed that way. Let's keep this. Then put back the Frog. Maybe I could have put back the third Bauble, but let's hit that second line drop. Where's the elves at? I have an elves list built, but you know we've been live for 42 minutes and we've played one match. That was a 40-minute match. Dang, it's crazy. Okay, it looks like we chose right on what to bottom. We're gonna be going as long as we can today. So keeping that on top. Take a peek over there. We've got a Fatal Push. So I mean, I'm not using these Surveils very well. I could go ahead and use them. I could go ahead and cash them in to play around Bowmaster a little bit better, but I think because I might want to set it, like know what it's on top of my library for Amped Raptor, I would probably just rather wait a second here. I could also draw a non-fetch land, and then that could change some stuff too. Sure, I'm glad they didn't print Stifle on MH3. Alright, so let's take a peek. Again, not a lot of bad hits, but there's like Unholy Heat and other Raptors. Nethergoyf is awesome hit here, so we'll go ahead and jam that. Which MH3 deck would 12-year-old Spike be most excited for? Owls? I mean, I didn't start playing until I was 18. Hard to say. Oh, Archive Trap. What? I thought for sure we would be like free of mill opponents for a long time. Thought for sure we'd be free of mill opponents for a long time. That's a good amount of time to think about taking to cast your second Archive Trap. a normal amount of time. Mill. And now we hit Unholy Heat. Brutal. We've got some Nethergoyfs in the yard. Although they just have Ancestral Recall on top of their library. Okay, Mill still undefeated. On to next match. The Mill Discord is still always hounding me. And I did not bring my Emrakul with me today, and I don't feel bad about that. I'm gonna click the submit button and hope to Nethergoyf my opponents. Should have had the Emrakul. I really was like, when I was building these decks, I was so relieved because I was like, no one's gonna play Mill. No one's playing Mill during post image 3, but it seems to be not the case. Little Deaths, thank you Twitch Prime. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I guess I missed that Mill won an event, huh? Been playing too much Elden Ring. Can Blue-White Control finally combat big mana decks with Harbinger and Phantom? Those two cards are non-bow. Blue-White has been able to combat big mana decks, I think. There's been a lot of options, but you know, these cards help for sure. What do you think about new Eladamri in the Yawgmoth deck? It could be good. There's so many cards you could play in the Yawg deck. So many cards. Papa with the 9, thank you so much. It's almost like Mill is better than most MH3 decks. Maybe. That was probably a good matchup against us. Like only one because Prowess Mislethal. And if they had it Mislethal, maybe we would be playing against Prowess instead here. That brews something with Energy on Earth. It hasn't quite made its way into any list I've played yet, but we definitely could. Definitely could play it. Do like that card. Mill's gonna win the PT. I'm calling now. I remember like we looked at Mill a little bit for PT Barcelona last year, and we had like a 35% win rate with it or something. It wasn't very good last year, and it hasn't changed very much, but we'll see. We'll see. It was also just like so bad against Scam, and Scam is, you know, gonna be less popular probably, or like traditional Scam at least. Okay, let's keep this one, and because we have Mountain and Delta, We want to make sure that we can use all of our mana both turns. I think it should be fine for me to go Chandler first, but it would be fine, I think, to lead on. Like, because we could go black 1-drop into black 1-drop Channeler, or we can go Channeler into Channeler black 1-drop. I'm not sure exactly which ones we want to do, if that makes sense, which is why to lead like this. So I'm usually really hesitant to graveyard anything when I play when I play against Mill and I have Channeler in my deck. It seemed like an okay spot to at least get one look at maybe getting Delirium. So very likely to have Delirium if they play a land. Yeah, five types in the yard, so now our Nethergoyf is be a nice 5/6 next turn. They get basic swamps, maybe they have a push, maybe they have a Thoughtseize. Just a push. Raptor looking kind of nice potentially, although we'll maybe see what we could be good to just play both threats. I'm gonna Thoughtseize first. They have a sweeper. If they have a Tasha's, it's kind of scary. Yeah, Tasha's is just like kind of game over against us. I'm actually going to play Amped Raptor here to maybe try to overwhelm my opponent's removal spells a little bit. Seeing that they have 2 removal spells in their hand. First pick kid, Twitch Prime, BRB Coffee, Twitch Prime. Thank you all so much. Hope you're doing well. Been to 4 years. Again, sorry if I missed any resubs today. It's going to be pretty crazy, and I do appreciate y'all coming and stopping by today. Obviously, it's been a pretty exciting or pretty hyped stream to get to. Okay, let's start off and discharge the crab so that we can get in with the frog without having to discard anything. My opponent does have drown and they have push, so like maybe they would want to counter this. I'm going to keep this on top because I'm expecting my opponent to at the very least fetch with their Delta here. So if we graveyard the land there, we're just kind of helping them. I'd be pretty surprised if my opponent just like let it go, you know? Translucent, the 11 months, and Tolarian Apothecary, think with 5, we'd be doing well. Are the image cards already available on Mana Traders? I don't believe so. I right now I'm using the Content Creator account instead, which has been so helpful. I'm really glad that they have implemented this. Nethergoyf has been phenomenal so far. It's like crazy card. Ragavan is outdated, I think. Ragavan is just nearly dead in the water here. So I'm attacking my opponent. So I'm kind of lucky to not mill another Nethergoyf, maybe. But right now we're attacking for 7 to put my opponent down to 3. Got 30 cards still in my library, and feeling pretty good. Esper, 2 months. Think we'll go back. Any Kappa builds in mind? I haven't been thinking too much about Affinity. I really wanted to build a more black-based build of Affinity, too, with all, like, there's, like, so many, like, black Affinity cards in MH3, but I have not figured out a build that looks like good enough to stream with yet. We'll see. Okay, on the draw for game 3 against Mill. Fingers crossed. Is adding Tribal Battle Enchantment too greedy? It's too greedy to do it just for the sake of having these cards in your deck. Like, there just really aren't... Like, I'm not going to play Bitter Blossom. There's not really an enchantment we would want to play in the main deck. Planeswalkers either. The Goyf is, you know, just land, instant, sorcery, artifact, creature. Can be a 5/5 pretty quick. 5/5 or 5/6 for 1 mana. That is good enough. You have Dress Down, post board 2. Could main deck Dress Down maybe. Has Bowmaster rotated? Bowmaster's still a good modern card, but it's just is also going to depend on how the metagame shapes up to determine how good it is, if that makes sense. Another turn 1 crab. I really can't believe we're playing against Mill, y'all. They just always find me. Alright, I think we gotta take that Tasha's again. Do you think Scepter Chant can have legs in Modern? No, I think the Scepter Orum's Chant will be completely unplayable. There are so many ways to kill an Orum's or a Scepter even without casting a spell, and also a lot of ways to do it at instant speed. Beseiju, Urza Saga for Haywire Might are probably two of the biggest ones, and it just seems like something you shouldn't really try to do. There may be like a weird spot that ends up being okay, but I think it's probably gonna be pretty bad. I'm rooting for your crab opponent. Well, at least you gave me $10. Thank you, Frost Magic. Alright, Amped Raptor into Tamiyo, your turn. You gonna field me? Well, I guess I'm getting an island and casting Attune the Narrative. If I draw a land, I can flip Tamiyo, which isn't going to do the most. Or really much of anything, maybe? Let's tune the narrative first, see if we do find that land. We don't. So I'll just go ahead and kill the crab. Try to kill the crab. My opponent cycles in response. This is not a draw 3, thankfully. Get in for 2. I tried Storm again. This is the second match I've played today, but I would like to play some more Storm today. I'm going to go as long as I can today. I'm going to go as long as I can this week, and we'll just see what happens. All right, getting Mountain. Gonna play a lot of basics in MH3 meta, it seems. I wonder if it's correct for me to frog here, because I just could discard a whole bunch of cards and get in for a lot. I also have 2 frogs, and maybe my opponent's got a removal spell here, or, sorry, counterspell. Although, seeing as they didn't use a counterspell in this spot, I'll go ahead and just play an Amped Raptor for the high upside. Got a lot of energy. Does a Johnny need other cats in the deck to be good? Not necessarily. If you have like Phyrexian Tower in your deck, a Johnny doesn't need other cats. If your deck just cares a lot about having like bodies in play for as efficient mana as possible, that doesn't really matter, but it would be ideal. So they push my Channeler. So imagine we're going to play an Amulet and a Frog, unless we hit a Necrogoyf, then I'm probably playing Necrogoyf. Maybe it would have been good to just cast the Amulet first. I'm assuming I have more fetchables. Kind of scared to look. If I escape a Nethergoyf later too, I get an extra damage, which is not nothing. So I have double red. Yeah, this gives me double blue, double black. Seems fine. Second Johnny flips first to Johnny. Yep, that's true. Okay. Tamiyo's a very good card in general. Not very good against Mill. Opponent. Their last card is another Visions to draw 3. Pretty nauseating. Alright, we're dead. I'm just going to concede to my opponent drawing 6 cards here. Impressive for me, like, nonstop. I really don't want to be playing less Unstable Amulets after playtesting a lot with them last week. But also, again, it's just like, let's playtest the MH3 cards and not worry about it too much yet. Bone Crusher is pretty unplayable in Modern. Like, even like Rhinos was not playing it at the end of its lifespan. Can I get a Blood Crypt here? Need land. Let's send Cursed Mirror in the Geological Appraiser deck. It's a start. Deck is just pretty far away. Also, is this mill again? I warned you. I warned you, mill players. You have found my wrath here. Emrakul in every sideboard. Dude, I get so many questions. Spike, why do you always have an Emrakul in the sideboard? And I was so happy. I was so happy to not have to put an Emrakul in my sideboard of every single deck forever. Post MH3, I've had the thought so many times. Once today happens, I will never have to play Emrakul in my sideboard again. When will you learn that your actions have consequences? It's every sideboard build players. Every sideboard. You will live. Tamiyo, Inquisitive students, you're going to live. I think I'm going to play it on turn 1. Dies, it's obviously a big problemo, but she got 3 toughness. Oh, we're not counting losses to mill. I just reset the league, so I guess, you know, you can count them or you can not count them, but I reset the league. I'm going to jam my Raptor here. Do have some bad hits. Maybe it's better to Thoughtseize this turn, because if my opponent plays a creature next turn, I can just Raptor it a lot more effectively. I'm a little bit scared of this just being burned, though. Well, it seems like that fear was warranted. Mill, burn. What was match 1? Scales with Kappa Cannoneer? That one was at least sweet. They drew Searing Blaze? Ugh, brutal. Alright, I think we have to high roll off the Raptor a little bit here, and we hit Unholy Heat. Bummer. Super dead, though. Alright, stock mill, stock burn. Best MH3 decks. So spike down to 5. Wait, they sack Sunbake Canyon instead of just going spike Eidolon? It's kind of weird, but I guess I can't ever win anyways, so there's that. Yeah, and most people aren't gonna have MH3 cards yet. Although I guess there's not a Brewer's Pass, right? Alright, spins Rift Bolts. We know they have the Lava Spike. So Sudden Edicts can come in against Sanctifier Invec, and I'm going to go down a couple Thoughtseizes, because this card says lose life against the burn deck. Probably going to be a really bad matchup. I don't have counterspells or life gain. Is what it is. Raptor in a clean board is 10 cards miss. If you count other... I don't really count other Raptors as a miss, but... yeah, I think you gotta play removal spells, though. It is what it is. Oh, sorry. Should have definitely used the Scalding Tarn. I'm just gonna go ahead and Surveil turn 1 instead, so I don't have to fetch shock the Tamiyo. Just kind of okay, because I think we mostly just want to make a gigantic Psychic Frog anyways. You could play Bolt over Heat. Why did Sudden Edict so it can't be countered? Yeah, we're mostly playing that card against, like, Leyline Scion, and so getting around Stepper Denial is a pretty big deal. Okay. Nethergoyf's pretty nice. I think I'm just going to go discard Psychic Frog, Tamiyo, and then play these 3 1-drops. Wheel of Potential, the Storm deck. I don't love it. It could be better than I think, and it's probably worth testing over the other 3-drop we've been playing, the Glimpse, but You're just not very good at getting a lot of energy, but maybe you could like sandbag your amulet energy and then wheel for like 5 sometimes. It'll definitely have its moments. And maybe it is better than Glimpse, but I've been not too sure about that card. So discharge just to gain energy. Discard this for more damage. Get in for 7. This opponent is dead next turn if they don't have a blocker. Game 3 on the draw is going to be tough. Well, I got 10 points of power in play, and my opponent's at 10 life, so not a lot of reason to do anything but just attack. I think a Helix, maybe? They bolt the Raptor, but I should just be able to... Oh, maybe I should have Jegantha in my hand. Because that would have played around Helix, so they could just discarded 3. So they would have had to Helix the Raptor. Force Charm, you're dead. Game 3. Will I try Affinity after this, or is it tomorrow? I don't know. Other people have been playing Affinity. I want to try to get a weird experimental build of Affinity that's using a lot of the new like black MH3 cards, and I don't know how good that'll be. Or when it'll happen. There's just a lot to get to, and we'll try to get to all of it. Alright, Goblin Guide. So Swamp is interesting here, because I think I still have to... I'm just thinking, can I guess I can just go Mountain Channeler, and then I can play Raptor on turn 2, and then I can play Frog turn 3, but maybe that'll just be too slow. But the ability to play only basic lands here seems pretty nice. Is there any major graveyard discard synergies? Frog is... Yeah, I think Frog is just a good value creature, which a lot of people seem to be kind of confused about. But in my opinion, Frog is a good enough value creature by itself to just play in a deck like this. Well, good shit, I guess. Burn and Mill still amazing, it seems. Seems like casting Tamiyo is fine. Yeah, NT plus Frog seems like something you could do also, but probably a different kind of deck. Yeah, Necrodominance plus Psychic Frog also seems like, 2 cards. You could definitely play together. We've talked a little bit about that already today. Some kind of Urza Affinity combo. What about Kiki combo? We got a lot to get to. Got a lot to get to. Opponent, I'm at 6 life. Come on, brother. Come on. I mean, if somehow they're bricked, then like this was probably their last burn spell, and they probably top decked this one here. Okay. Moving on. All right, bad against burn, bad against mill, best decks in MH3. Okay, I reveal Jegantha on the draw here. Keeping this. I haven't played against any control. So far we played against Hardened Scales with Kappa Cannoneer, and we played against Mill twice and then Burn. Mirror Entity for Bowmasters and Occasional Infinite. Which is worse than Azuri, right? I think. Azuri just regenerates your thing for 1 mana. Like Mirror Entity is actually very bad against Bowmasters because it's a 3 mana 1 toughness creature. Brewed Flare of Denial with Crabvine that yet? No, not yet. I do think that like Crabvine with Flare of Denial, Dark Amoeba, Prized Amalgam, Crab seems like something. How scared of Rin and 6 should I be? Let's go ahead and see if they're what their top card is. Summoner's Pact. So this is probably Amulet Titan and not Valakut Titan. So let me play Nethergoyf on turn 1 just for the speed. How many blue creatures do you need for Flare? Depends. I think you can get away with like less than you probably think. Just kind of depends. What a hand. Okay, so I should probably. I mean, obviously they need another land to crack that map anyway, so I think we just take second amulet pretty easily. Go 3/4 Nethergoyf. So I'm pretty incentivized here, I think, to play Psychic Frog, discard Unstable Amulet, so my Goyf is bigger, and then let's even just cash in Galvanic Discharge for 3 energy, and also to make the Nethergoyf 4/5. Oh wait, oh sorry, I already have Bauble. Dang it. I guess I didn't need the second amulet anyways, but I thought I was growing the Goyf. Oopsie doopsie. The discharge did grow the Goyf at least, and we've got a lot of pressure on an opponent who is stumbling. They're going to be able to copy Amulet of Vigor, though, and maybe be in a spot where they are... I think they're going to be in a spot where they're just a bounce land away from winning. Seems like I should discard the Bauble for extra point of damage. And then we could flip the Tamiyo off the Clue token, or we could play Amulet. We could maybe do both. Let's see what we draw off the Frog first. Draw a land. So I think I'd rather flip the Tamiyo first. But another Frog. Flip over Delta. So they're able to sack the map for a bounce land, and then they can just go copy Amulet, play bounce land, 4 mana, Grazer, bounce land, win the game. Yep. Nethergoyf plus Traverse the Uvenwald, your thoughts? Traverse is a pretty shitty card, and I think the main reason you would want to play Traverse the Uvenwald in 2024 is so that you can combo with Shifting Woodland, but Traverse for like a creature, like a threat, is pretty bad because like there's just so many good threats. Just play another threat instead. That's like on curve. I might play Sudden Edicts also. We'll see. I have Unholy Heat, so I probably don't need them. I think I'm going to play 2 Break the Ice. That's usually around the right number, I think, against Titan. I'm going to, I think, just cut my Galvanic Discharges completely, cut the Tune the Narratives, and then go down to like 1 Tamiyo. Seems okay. Could you explain your reasoning for including Nettle Sentinel in my elves list over Dwine and Elite? Elite is super synergistic with Priest of Titania, Heritage Druid, and while Nettle Sentinel is mainly good with Heritage Druid. Nettle Sentinel is also very good with Court of Calling. It's also a mana curve consideration. But also Nettle Sentinel plus Heritage Druid is a good way to cast like your entire library when you have an Azurian play. Nettle Sentinel's higher card quality in general. Nettle Sentinel's like uncuttable. I've also played so much Elves. I played so much Elves, you know, been a bigger believer in that deck than most people, and I feel pretty confidently that like Dwynen's Lead has been the worst card in the deck by a long time, by a lot for a long time. Like I think it's like a kind of card you've had to play, but I think it's been the worst one. So far, what's one thing that's kind of interesting is we seem to be playing against a lot of like really linear decks, and it feels like this kind of strategy is gonna be a bit better in like the grindier matchups. So it might be a good time to pivot over to Elves soon. Does Amulet do anything if you cut Tune and Discharge? Maybe not enough. Could probably trim on those two. Still keeping. We'll see if they do anything. Like when I was building the subs list, I was like super happy to get to cut Dwynen's Lead, if I'm gonna be honest. $18 lands, real lands at the bottom, draw land, not ideal, is what it is. think this deck could be a lot stronger without Raptor, more interaction like Spell Pierce. Thank you for your feedback. I think Raptor is a really strong card. You're allowed to dislike it. I'm going to jam the Raptor here. It'll break the ice. The Channeler. Why no Conduit Goblin in the Boros list? It's worse than every other card in the deck by a lot. That would be the main reason. Shifting Woodland. Yeah, I've done some testing with Winter Moon. I'm just not sure that the metagame is. I feel like the metagame has to be pretty specific for it. Is my current impression. I'm gonna play this weekend for a paper event. Maybe just the Storm deck. All right, let's keep this Thoughtseize. Definitely one of our better hits here. Think there's a home for War and Soul Trader yet? I've been looking at that card, and there's been some list I've been like pretty close to including it in, and I haven't quite registered it in the deck yet. But I would really like to, yeah. So I graveyarded my Watery Grave, so I guess we'll just get a Swamp and Thoughtseize. Ping our opponent for 1. Graveyard Nethergoyf for value and Delirium. And it seems like this Unholy Heat will be a pretty good pickup for next turn also. And my opponent has 2 Primeval Titans. Alright, Titan's still broken. Let's play a more linear deck. It seems like everybody's playing really linear stuff, and these Grixis builds, you know, for better or for worse, are a lot better in like the grindier matchups. So I think like Storm would be awesome against like what we've played against so far. And Storm was really, really fun.